Welcome to Ready, Set, Collaborate with Wanda Pearson. This is where ideas spark, connections grow, and collaborations fuse success. Tune in for inspiring stories, expert insights, and game-changing conversations. Let's build, connect, and thrive together. Remember, collaboration is the key to success.
Welcome to the Ready, Set, Collaborate podcast with Wanda Pearson, where collaboration truly is the key to success. I'm your host, Wanda Pearson. Today, I'm honored to sit down with author Alfred AJ Robinson. AJ's powerful new book, A Black Man's Divorce Memoir, takes us on a raw and courageous journey through heartbreak, identity, and healing. His story sheds light on the challenges many men face but rarely voice, offering wisdom and hope for moving forward after life's deepest losses. Get ready for an open, authentic conversation that will inspire resilience and strength. And I just want to say thank you so much, AJ, for coming on my podcast. I really appreciate you being here.
Wanda, I really appreciate you asking me. I'm humbled and grateful to have an opportunity, which you have done on your platform, what I've seen, the different conversations.
Yeah.
I'm just grateful to be asked. Thank you.
Absolutely. And you got a short bio. So if you want to add something to this bio, we do. But we're going to dive into your bio and then also dive into your questions because we both grow. Listen, AJ, we both be busy. We be getting out there, getting it in.
Absolutely. I'm actually just coming from an event. I'm out here in beautiful New Jersey, Hoboken, New Jersey, right here on the pier. I can practically touch the Empire State Building, practically touch it.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I missed that. My husband's from New Jersey. We went to college in New Jersey. So I missed that, but I missed the snow Christmas time, but I don't miss the weather. So I'm in Atlanta. I like my warm weather.
It's addictive.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about your bio. So AJ is an armor veteran, father, HR practitioner, speaker, and best-selling author of Notes of an Unfinished Journey, A Black Man's Divorce Manual. That was the shortest bio. Now, do you want to add something a little bit to? Okay, yeah, I'm not done yet. Look at that. A divorce manual. I love it. I love it. Black Man's Divorce Memoir. And it's great that you shared that, AJ, because a lot of men don't write, how they feel. So I love that you're sharing your story. I know with my story, my book, God's Grace Through the Fire from Struggle to Triumph, it was hard to write that book. And that's where the forgiveness comes in because I was digging deep down inside of what was going on with me. And I'm sure the same thing with you as far as that. So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. So now you want to add a little bit more to your bio?
You know what? I'm going to do better than that. I'm going to actually do better than that. I am going to crack this open.
Okay.
And I'm going to read a couple of lines.
Okay.
Hello, and welcome to an excerpt of my imperfect story. I am not a perfect man, nor husband or father. I have made and continue to make poor decisions and choices from my trauma-filled mind. Let that sink in before we begin. I'm a Black man following a calling to write this memoir for you, the reader. This preface serves as a separate peek into my mindset and reasoning, if that is even a word, as this is my first book. There will be some interesting plays on grammar and language, but trust me, the meal is more important than the plate it is on.
I love that. The meal is more important than the plate it is on. I love that. If you think about that, that's deep, but it's so true.
On Sunday we go and a man say it's in the book. On Sunday a man say it's in the book. I didn't write it, but the man say on Sunday the man say it's in the book. You know what I mean? So I just read it what comes out the book.
Yeah, it's in the book. It's in the book, and you actually share that here. So, what inspired you to write the Black Man's Divorce Memoir? Memoir.
Pain. I didn't see anyone out here saying what I say or in the way that I say it. I didn't see any men speaking this pain. And God woke me up one morning. You know how God does. He don't have no rules. He do whatever he want to do. We had this conversation. Anyway, I won't talk about my conversation with God. Anyway, God woke me up this one morning and he said, write this. As a matter of fact, I was in Atlanta. I was actually in Atlanta when he told me to do this. And he said, write and keep writing until I tell you to stop. And so I wrote an outline And I was like, ooh, I don't want to say this. This is not about you. This is about for the men who don't have a voice and the Black men who are afraid to speak, the men who are in terror in their relationships. You are going to speak for those men who are afraid to speak.
Mm. I love that. I like because you know what? God told me the same thing. I had he said he
Yeah, we
had
got to talk
me.
about that. God does whatever he wants to
Oh
do
my
it when
God.
he wants to do it.
Right. And he keep pushing me to stuff. And I'm like, okay. I said, I would never write a book. And I get a call. God told me to call you. And then I get another call. You want to be in my collaboration? Then he said, okay, now you're going to write your own book. You know, The God's Grace Through the Fire from Struggle to Triumph. And that you're right. And
It's a
I
beautiful
had to
title.
dig into deep inside. And that brought sorrow. That brought unforgiveness in my heart. But God will do just like this podcast. I would never do a podcast. He said, oh, yes, you are. So he's not finished with me. He's not finished with you yet. You got another book to write.
Absolutely. It's called Children of Divorce.
Okay. I like that. I like that. All right. You're going to come out with that one soon. So, how did you find the courage to be transparent about your personal journey?
Again, we're still talking about God. So it's really not my decision. It's literally what I just said. This has to be heard. And even to another question, even as I'm moving forward in this, there's no one having a conversation the way that I'm having it. And so that God keeps pushing me forward, as you just said. You know what I mean? My answers are always going to be with God because he keeps saying, do this because you can't reach enough men. And when I get in podcasts and places like this, someone will hear my voice and hear what I have to say or hear what I read and be like, okay, that book looks like me. There's some
Yeah.
things that I see in that cover that looks like me. And I get that. However God communicates and bring people, I'm a voice for the silenced lion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. And because a lot of men won't do that, what you're doing here. So, divorce can carry stigma, especially for men. What unique challenges did you face as a Black man navigating this?
It's painful. It's painful to have conversations. The challenges are behind closed doors.
Mm.
You understand? The challenges are when actually having these conversations and talking about the times I was in pain and helping to heal men and women. A lot of women, here's another thing that's a real challenge. My sisters, my women, my married women, they have a misconception of divorce. Divorce, just the word, it's like using profanity to a church person. And because of that stigma, they don't, a human being doesn't hear anything else. They just hear divorce. They just hear a profanity word. So they shut off. But the book is not about divorce. The book is about men's pain. The book is a bridge so that conversations can be had between men and women so that healing and forgiveness can become. Divorce, the first thing after divorce that should happen is forgiveness some way, somehow, or
Right.
else you're going to carry that with you for the rest of your life. I'm hoping I'm answering your questions.
No, you are, and it's good because we talk about forgiveness. But yeah, I wanted to ask you, what was the most difficult chapter of your healing process, and how did you overcome it?
Writing. Writing helped. Writing was therapy for me. Writing was therapy, and again, I'm putting God in me because I didn't write it. It was when my editor went through the book with me, and there's some places in there. This book is not just about me. There's other men's voice. All my books will have other men's voice. So this is not just about. Please, let's make that clear. This book is not just Alfred. This book
Right.
is a whole collaborative. There's about 15 different men in that book, and in all my books. So it's not just my point. The pain and clarity and speaking to the point and giving examples of other people can relate to the example. You understand what I'm saying? There's a beautiful chapter. The chapters are who, what, when, where, and how. There's a chapter about a court scene. And that man that was in that court scene, there are so many men that could resonate with that. You know what I mean? And it's a beautiful opportunity for women to be able to read that and be able to understand what a man feels in that situation because he's completely powerless when he walks in that room.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? There's some segments like that.
That's awesome. And we need to hear this because it's usually women that does this. And then it could be bitterness between bitterness and men and women. But I'm so glad you wrote this because I don't remember anybody writing a book like what you're writing here as far as how you felt as far as divorce is concerned. So were there moments when writing felt more like therapy than storytelling?
Again, and I was alluding to the fact when my editor went through the book
Mhm.
and we went through the book Tooth and Coleman, and there was a part in the book. And you have to buy the book. You can pick up the book. You can just message me, info at Black Man Divorce Memoir. That's info at Black Man Divorce Memoir, or my website, blackmandivorcememoir.com is my website. You can go on there, choose and order the book. We'll get the book out to you. We usually send it out on the 1st and 15th. Please order the book so you can read it yourself. There was a part that I read in that book, and I was like, oh my God, I don't believe that's there. And then we go back to that conversation with me and God. I said, God, let me talk to you a second. But the book was already printed. It's done. So there is therapy, there's healing in there for men, because there's something in there that some man went through that he can resonate with. And then that's why I have my tribe. That's why we have the tribe that we're creating, so when men can get together and have these conversations in a safe space with someone who knows it. I've done my 30 years.
Yeah. I could believe it. Look, I got 44 years. It's all God. It's all
They
God.
say prayer is a real thing. Prayer is a real thing.
Yeah. It's funny because I said, I would never get married. God said, oh, yes, you are. Now look at me 44 years later. Oh, yes, you are.
And thank God. Thank God. It's better to have someone than not have someone.
Yeah.
Because that loneliness is another piece that I wrote about. That is a whole different language.
It really is. It really is. But no, I'm blessed. I'm really blessed. And the thing about it, everything I said, I never would. Actually, my second collaboration, but never say never, because God has a plan for you. He sure did have he has a sense of humor, doesn't he?
So yes, he does. Yeah, I keep telling you, I be having conversations with him.
Yeah,
I be having conversations with him. Let me talk to you for a minute.
Yeah, he does. He does. It's a blessing, because we just never know. And God knows who should be in our life and who shouldn't.
Absolutely.
And that's what we learn from here. So what lessons did you learn about yourself during and after divorce?
I'm still learning them. One of the biggest things that I've learned is I'm stronger than I thought I was. I'm more resilient than I thought I was. I'm more powerful than I ever conceived myself to be. And I'm made in his likeness. And there is nothing for me to be afraid of. So that's a short answer.
Yeah, no, and that's that. It really makes sense. It really makes sense, because a lot of times people carry bitterness and hatred and anger and unforgiveness in their heart. So that's why God is definitely good to be part of the story, because he helped you get through the next chapter, because now you're like, okay, what else can I write here without being negative, but being on the positive side? What role did faith, family, or community play in your healing journey? Because I know you said you have children.
So here's the thing. This conversation is laced with God, which is so interesting, because I'm being authentic. That's another thing about my book and my presence. And when I speak in podcasts, or when I'm on stage, or I speak in men's groups, or whatever the case may be, I bring something different to the stage, because I'm authentically me. I don't come with a platform or a plan or anything like that. What helped me, my daughters helped me. I make sure I went through a lot of spiritual forgiveness work. I took a lot of forgiveness classes. Forgiveness, radical forgiveness. I spoke it. I taught 1 or 2 classes on forgiveness, and really dive into that to release. We talk about pain bodies and release. So I did that early on, even before the book was published, because the book wouldn't have been able to publish. Listen, you can't publish an airplane with baggage on it. You understand that? You can't publish something that's going to take off carrying a brick cylinder behind you.
Yeah.
There is no animosity or hatred on my part toward my ex. I was very careful about, was very worried and concerned about that, because I cared for this woman, still do. You understand what I'm saying? She's the mother of our beautiful children, and neither one of us did anything wrong. That's an important thing. I really want to do this. I'm being long-winded. To get to the point of understanding that we did the best that we could possibly do with the tools that we had. And I make an analogy so it's simple for everyone on this podcast as you hear this in this replay. You can't tell a caveman he's ignorant when you're driving a Ferrari.
Wow. I love that.
If you have a Ferrari, you have no right to turn around and tell a caveman who's afraid of fire that he's an ignorant beast. What you should do is say, hey, you got the wheel going on? All right, listen, keep working out with the wheel. This is how it goes. And that's the piece that we as human beings don't take the time out. We are quick to call a caveman ignorant without realizing. Let me do it another way. We are quick to talk in 1940 about how bad they were when you're coming from 2010 and 2020. We're quick to judge somebody from 1980 and say 1980 is ancient because it has a 19 in front of it. But without 1980, you wouldn't be here in 2025. I just keep things simple.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Yeah, 1980. Yep, that was the year that I got married, 1981. I got married, right? Soon after college,
Same here.
in New
Same here.
Jersey. Yep, yep. Yes, no, that's a good way of putting that though, AJ. I appreciate that. So for those who experience divorce, what words of encouragement would you share if they're going through divorce now or have been through divorce?
You are okay. You are okay. Life will continue. The ocean waves will continue. It doesn't feel like it. There's a pause. Everything stops moving. The heart leaps out the chest. You can see it walking down the street.
Mhm.
All of the body aches. You laying all of these things. Yes, I'm not a therapist, but time heals all things,
Mhm.
and community, spirituality, therapy, get into God based, somehow get into a men's group, join AJ's tribe, get into some kind of group of peers who are going through the same thing. Definitely go to a spiritual person, whether it's a minister, pastor, whatever the case may be. And if you're not comfortable in any situation,
Mhm.
I get it. I understand that. Go to a therapist, a licensed practitioner. But there are things that you are going to navigate through that you did not expect, that you don't know. So you need to have conversations with people who do. That's why Alfred's AJ's tribe is AJ's tribe. We can have there's so much powerful stuff when we as men take the time out to relax. Let me do this. I do analogies and I'm being long-winded. Women have beauty parlors. Women have nail salons. Women have girl days. Women have girl trips. Women have all of these different things. No animosity toward men. What do men have?
Yeah.
We have sports days. When we have sports days, we're not talking about our feelings. We watching sports. You understand what I'm saying? There are different, our genders have different outlets. The male gender does not have many outlets where we can express our feelings because we're not educated or taught about expressing our feelings. Whereas women are constantly talked about or given outlets to express their feelings. Those who think the reason I did all that is to say is that there's different tools that are trained and different dudes that are trained the other way. We're trained not to express ourselves. Women are trained to express themselves all day, every day. So now I don't know if any of you grew up on a playground, but if you go to a playground, there's this thing called a seesaw. If you have a seesaw and someone sits on one end and one person goes up, and someone sits on the other end and the other person goes up.
Yeah.
So if one side is being taught speak, and one side is being taught don't speak, don't speak.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. Don't cry. Men don't cry. I'm sure you were taught that, right? Don't cry. And it's
Absolutely.
tough.
Take man up. Take it on the chin.
Yeah. Yeah.
She left you. She left with another person. She
Yeah.
took all the money. She took man up. That's okay. She took the house. She took the kids. Man up, take it. You don't have no place to stay. Man up, take it. It's okay. She can take everything. Man up.
Yeah.
What about my feelings? Oh, we don't have anything written about your feelings. We don't know what to do with your feelings. So you got to figure that out.
Yeah. And that is so true. And you're saying it. That is so true. And it's difficult for men, so they keep it inside. And that's when it festers inside of you, it's hard to release it. And what you're doing is actually helping those men to say. But a lot of thing about it is men don't speak. Like, in fact, I'm gonna tell you what me and my husband, I had to teach him the 4 C's: communication, commitment, consideration, and compromise. Those are the 4 C's, not just in relationships, but also in business. Communicating, and that's what kept us together. And also God. God is definitely part of that.
You got to have God. You have to have something
Yeah.
else at the head because if the two of you, you have the same information. If you don't go, that's why I say go to therapy, go to a minister. So you have to involve another piece of information
Right.
to involve healing. But go ahead, I apologize.
Yeah, no, and that's so true. We're having a conversation here. So no, it really does make it. And I say prayer. A lot of times men don't want to pray, but pray to ask God to help to give you that strength and peace and forgiveness in your heart. Those are the things they really need to, but it's if they want to accept that. A lot of them don't want to accept that, but if they do accept it, it makes it much easier to deal with.
Here's the thing, and I'm still agreeing with you, seeing as we're having a conversation.
Hmm.
I'm careful. Words are powerful.
Yes.
And and I've had several conversations with people. Careful. It's not that men don't do it.
Mhm.
Men don't have the tools. They weren't
Right.
taught the tools. That's different from not doing. Not doing it is a decision. What I'm saying, and I'm bringing this to the conversation, I've had this conversation with several women. Most of them don't listen and they walk away. They don't want to hear that part. I've watched it several times. Men don't have the tools. Again, we're doing the seesaw. They weren't taught that. You understand what I'm saying? So
Oh,
without
yeah.
me teaching you that, then we don't have a man in the household. So there's no man in the household. And you have mom teaching you the best things that she can teach you. She does a great job with what she had, but without that male presence within the household, I'm not, please hear me, I'm not making any decisions. I'm just simply apples to apples, oranges to oranges. Without being taught something, you go to school for what? You go to get a degree for what? You go to get a PhD for what? So that same thing applies to knowledge. So it's not that men aren't doing it. The men that aren't doing it may not have the information to do it. Now, if they have the information and they choose not to do it, now we go into the statement of they're not doing it. But the statement should be men may or people may or may not have that information. And if you don't have the information, you can't move forward.
Yes, yes. And that is so true. And I tell you, I'm glad you actually telling people about that. Tell people we got to have another conversation. So we're going to have another podcast because we're going to have a podcast. We're
I'm
going to
here
have
to
a
serve.
podcast in
I am
November.
here to serve.
Yeah, as I celebrate my 2 years in November of having Ready, Set, Collaborate podcast, I'm doing a different segment about forgiveness because that's my book that's coming out. So I want to have guests. So I want to have you on my as my guest to talk about that. So tell
I'm here to
people,
serve.
and I'm trying to get you out of here as soon as possible. So tell people how they can get in touch with you. And also I'm going to have it in the show notes. You gave how they can get in touch with your book, but tell them also how they can get in touch with you as well.
Absolutely. Everything is through my website. One source is blackmandivorcememoir.com. My email is simple info@blackmandivorcememoir.com. Oh, Wanda, please let me put this out there. Let me
Yes.
put this out there. And I've had this conversation sometimes. So the book is Notes of an Unfinished Journey.
Okay.
I'm not done yet.
Yes.
Now, what had happened was, so it's Notes of an Unfinished Journey. I'm not done yet. That was meant to help men, to speak my pain, what I went through. Yeah, my thing. But what had happened is I came to earth with this.
Mm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I came to earth with genitalia. I'm a man. And the book is a memoir. So the major point is the fact that it's Notes of an Unfinished Journey.
Mm-hmm.
And that I'm a Black man, and this is my memoir, what has many voices in it. And my second book was still an unfinished journey, but it's about children of divorce.
I love it. I love it because children go through divorce too, as far as
Yes, they
problems.
do, and some of them never recover.
No, they don't, and then they actually end up going into another relationship as far as what they learn. No, this is great. I really love this, and I am truly excited about you being on my podcast. Thank you, AJ, for sharing your heartfelt journey and the lessons you've learned through such a challenging chapter of life. Your memoir reminds us that healing is possible and that even brokenness, we can find strength and resilience. To my listeners, you'd like to connect with AJ or get a copy of A Black Man's Divorce Memoir, be sure to check the show notes for details. Until next
And you
time.
will, and hold on, Wanda, anyone who puts Wanda's podcast in the notes will also get a copy of my free ebook. They will also get a copy of my free ebook. Absolutely. I appreciate being on this platform. Because I'm on this platform, I have to give back.
Yes.
And I will gladly give back. Once you let me know that you saw me on Pop Wonders, I will give you a copy of one of my ebooks. I have two.
I want a copy. I want a copy.
It's done. It's done. It is done. Thank you very much, sister. It's been a pleasure. I hope that I served. I hope I helped someone in some shape, way, or form. Again, info at Black Man Divorce Memoir. Just go right to my website, Black Man Divorce Memoir. And I'm putting a group of men together, you know what I mean? And we just talk and vibe.
That's
Thank you
awesome.
very much.
That's awesome. Until next time, this is Wanda Pearson reminding you that collaboration is the key to success. Let's keep building, healing, and growing together. Thank you, AJ, so much for being on my podcast again. And it is going to be a next time because now we got more to talk about.
And good luck on that phenomenal forgiveness book. That's going to help so many people.
Yes. Well, thank
God
you
is
so
definitely
much.
using you, sister. Definitely using you.
Oh, he is. He is using me here. But no, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That wraps up another episode of Ready, Set, Collaborate with Wanda Pearson. I hope you found inspiration and valuable insights to help you build meaningful connections and successful collaborations. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe, share, and stay tuned for more great discussions. Until next time, keep collaborating and making an impact.